Next up, at UFC London, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Texas's own Kevin Holland taking on Gunnar Nelson. Kevin Holland, 26-13 in his career. He's only 1-4 in his last 5. He is coming off back-to-back. Dude, this fat old dog banging on my door. Coming off back-to-back losses. He's taking on Gunnar Nelson, 19-5 in his career.
Gunnar.
No, not doing that.
It is Gunnar.
I'm not doing it. I don't give a shit. What's he going to do? Fight me 5 years from now? 3-2 in his last 5, coming off a 2-year break, because that's what this guy does. But we'll start on the Kevin Holland side. We all know who Kevin Holland is, and a lot of people feel very strongly about Kevin Holland in any direction. He's an accurate, powerful striker who has struggled with takedown defense in the past. Other than the wrestling defense, Kevin's got some good hands. Clean striking, accurate striking. He's got good jiu-jitsu on the ground. He just can't control if the fight stays standing or goes to the ground. He's coming off that almost instant loss to Renier de Reder at 185 pounds, where it was clear that Kevin has not been working his takedown defense. He's taking on Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson is a grappler. He's got that long karate style. He bounces from side to side. He'll use kicks to try to manage some range, and then he will blitz forward. He'll lower his level. He'll shoot a takedown. Once it hits the ground, he does have good ground and pound. He does have good BJJ. His issue, though, is that he can be taken down. His issue, though, is that he can be hit. And his issue, though, is that he doesn't fight. This dude fights once every 2 to 3 years at home. And I know this isn't his actual home. He's not English, but as close as it's going to get where the UFC is going to bring a major card. And that's all he does. And he gets favorable matchups from the UFC, like his last fight when he fought Brian Barberena. He wins, and then he'll come back 3 years from now, and people are going to be like, oh, Gunnar Nelson's so good. And I understand it might be crazy to pick Kevin Holland in 2025. I get it. I saw his last fight. I saw my best friend sit here and proclaim that Kevin Holland was going to win that fight, and he was the lock of the week. I saw that, and I saw the hate that came after that. But the reality is Kevin Holland is a good fighter. And I'm not saying Gunnar Nelson's not a good fighter, but you can't fight once every 3 years, get an easy matchup, and then come out here and expect to win. I think Kevin Holland's going to win this fight. Here's the thing. I get it. Kevin Holland doesn't care. Blah, 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 blah. I get it. I've heard all the bullshit. I think Kevin Holland is going to win because, A, it is at 170 pounds. And even if he doesn't give a shit, he's got to at least be going to the gym to work his way down to 170. B, I don't think Gunnar Nelson is active enough. C, I don't think Gunnar Nelson's wrestling is good enough to get that close. I do think Kevin Holland will tag him up on the way in. That long, dumbass karate style, there's only 3 people that have ever done it well. Lyoto Machida, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and Michael Venom Page. Those are the only 3 people that have ever had any real success at a high level with that karate style. And I think if Gunnar Nelson's going to stand that long, if he needs to get this fight to the ground, which is what he's going to need to do, to lower his level, cover that distance to shoot a takedown, too much distance. I'm picking Kevin Holland. I bet on Kevin Holland. I'm riding with Kevin Holland. I got him at plus 150, 130, something like that. And the odds are shifting here. What do you think, Jakey boy?
You guys want to bet Kevin Holland? I wish you nothing but the best. I can't do it. I know that guy doesn't give a fuck. And he doesn't give a shit. I mean, he's shown that he doesn't give a shit. The guy's probably making $200,000, $250,000 to show up. His goal is just show up and do that as many times. If he wins, good. But the goal for him, I guarantee, is just not take damage so he can. Nobody takes a fight faster after a loss than Kevin Holland. No, and there's not a single person. After a fight, boom, sign me up, give me my $200K. Let me not take a whole lot of damage and get the fuck out of there. Could he find a win against Gunnar? Of course he can, right? He's a long-rangey guy, but I think he's got overrated power. 2 knockdowns in his last 17 fights is absolutely overrated power. He's struggled against grapplers before. Gunnar, I think, just gives a shit more. I'm not going to bet on Gunnar, but he's going to be my pick because I'm done with Kevin. So good luck, guys.
Yeah, listen, I get it. I understand. I get it.
People just assume, he's just going to come through and knock him out. It's like, all right, well, okay.
Listen, I'm not clueless. Like I understand the narrative with Kevin. He doesn't care. He doesn't train. Who gives a shit? He made life-changing money when he stepped up to fight Shemaev. I understand all that.
The guy trains. He shows up. He's fine. He's never had in the last 2 or 3 years, I guarantee he's never had a hard fucking camp to buckle down to fight an opponent. I'm sure he trains hard, right? He shows up. He's always in shape. He's always a tough dude. He's a fun guy.
He's never tired.
Right? He's crazy talented and stuff like that, right? But it's just like fucking, he just shows up.
I get it. I don't disagree with anything you said. The one thing that I do think is going to be different here is he is very clearly fighting for his career. If he loses this fight, he's done. They're going to cut him. He's done. Because he's expensive and he's on a 3-fight losing streak. So I think he understands that. I think coming down to welterweight, he will have to train, literally. And I think he's going to show up a little different here. I don't think this is a typical, like, if I lose at 185,
guys, go listen to my breakdown with RDI. I said the same thing. You think Kevin's losing to this guy? I mean, look at this guy. I mean, you're going to lose to this. There's no way Kevin's going to lose to this fucking guy. Guy can't strike for shit. He got shit takedown. And Kevin just walks in, throws a wild right hand, gets taken down. He's like, all right, I'll see you guys in a month.
Yeah. Listen, you and I are split here, and I totally get it. If you do want to play DraftKings Fantasy here, I think Kevin Holland at $7,700 might almost a little bit be worth it. $7,700 is wildly affordable. There's not going to be any grappling on his side. So you're going to need a whole bunch of strikes, a decision win, maybe a finish there for that to be worth it. So if you're using the DraftKings Optimizer, the fight simulator, I would adjust some of those numbers, maybe make it work a little bit in your favor. You can unlock every single thing that we do. If you're watching this video, you're watching for 2 reasons. One, you think, hey, this is fun. It's good, easy content. It's entertaining. I love it. Or 2, let me do some research before I go out into the world and play some bets and play some fantasy and do all those things. Either one of those scenarios, become a premium member. It A, supports us, and B, unlocks the greatest value in this space and gives you everything you could ever want or need. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it's $10 for an entire month. That month will get you to UFC 314. Couple of super chats. $2 from Jack Mehoff. He said, keep up the great content. Bacon soup. Why does it say bacon soup?
I don't know. Is that a British thing?
I thought it was like a sex thing based off his screen name. Maybe not. Thank you, Jack. And then also this guy, sometimes you just got to point out the dummies. This young man, FCDABBC66 says, yo, how do you have DraftKings in Texas, bruv? We don't. This is DraftKings Fantasy, not DraftKings Sportsbook. This is DraftKings Fantasy. Fantasy, not Sportsbook. We do not have DraftKings Sportsbook here. Doesn't exist in Texas, so we don't have it.